The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to our weekly roundup. Dan here with Michael, with Rob, and a show that's brought to you in association with... Oh, who should we give this one to?
I think Levi Solicitors.
Is that because they're paying us to say that?
Absolutely, yes.
Good.
Am I going to have to do this myself this time?
Yeah.
You had a clip, didn't you, for
propaganda?
For propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, back to me then. The burden. Heavy as the head, eh? Did you know that celebrating 90 years, Levi Solicitors?
Is that right?
Do you know I know that?
Why?
Just opened up the website. It says it in the top corner.
That's good.
Yeah, 90 years. So, shows they're doing some things right, eh?
Wow, what an endorsement. Shows they're doing some things right.
I mean, Leeds United is over 100 years old.
Yeah, 105 now, aren't we? Yeah.
I suppose for the most part, it's been vaguely functional. Well...
Again, I don't feel like you really overly
But you
selling.
don't get away with it if you're a solicitor. You have to be good all the time.
Right.
Which they are.
Yes.
So you can use them for stuff. For you, for your business.
With a 10% discount.
With a 10% discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're nearly there. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. It's a good job they're very tolerant people, isn't it? And they understand that this is the state of this show. Anyway.
If only there was a skip 30 seconds button in this room.
But don't do that. Don't skip the read. It's dead important for us. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Is anybody thinking about anything other than promotion watch here? It's Thursday morning as we speak, as we record this. It rolls forward into Friday night, and again, the parameters will all narrow again when we know what we're doing against the hoops, the R's.
I was thinking about that, but now I'm just thinking about justice for Christopher John.
Right.
If I could recognise him, I'd be really cross about it. But
is this the breaking news?
The breaking news, yeah. Just as we've started recording.
Tell us what is the breaking news? Because if anybody's missed it,
he's going to be banned for QPR.
Well, that's a real.
They tried to derail our promotion.
We were just wondering whether he was banned from the touchline at Borough, because we wouldn't have recognised if he was or wasn't. The guy who looks like Connor Roberts is there, who again,
yes, he's
I don't know what he's called either.
Farker's mate.
So Christopher John does sound like a character from sort of Robin Hood.
Yeah,
sort
could
of
easily
folklore.
be.
I'm thinking Little John kind of thing. His mate, his brother, maybe Little John's brother.
Possibly so.
Christopher John.
But anyway, he's got a little bit of a fine as well.
£2,000.
Couple of grand. Is that for him or for the club?
For him, I think. We've not found out yet what he did say, which we're still waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure whatever he said was more than justified.
It was worth £2,000.
Yeah, so he's going to be missing from the dugout for the Friday night game against QPR. How are you feeling now then, with us sort of 24 hours out from all that?
I just wanted to be here, really.
I was just saying, I actually like the games now, because that's the thing that needs to happening. Whereas the bits in between, you're just waiting for it. It's like, can we just get on with it now?
Yeah. I'm still not a fan of the staggering of all the other games. It's a bit...
But Sky Sports are, aren't they?
It's a bit unnecessary, isn't it, to drag it out for so long. But I'd play them all across this weekend. All kick off simultaneously. All the remaining games.
Saturday, Sunday,
back to back. Just have them one after another. Get it all lovely and finished with.
Well, the other bit of new data we had is the Coventry Hull game last night, which Hull won, which means they are back within a hair's breadth. They've got a better goal difference than Norwich. 3 points behind them, heading into the playoffs. So they're going to be fired up, baby, for the game against Ipswich.
They don't have a better goal difference, just to be clear.
No, they don't, do they? No, the higher number is better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I've made the mistake of is thinking the lower number's better there.
Have you ever looked at a Football League table before?
Do you know what I was thinking? Because I was thinking the higher position is better, like 6th is better than 7th. And for some reason, my brain thought that a worse goal difference was better.
When you said it, I thought, that's not true.
This is the kind of high-level analysis that people enjoy with this show, though.
But yeah, they're within 3 points of both Norwich and West Brom, and there are 2 games to play.
Yeah.
So, although it's effectively 4 points because both of them have better goal difference. But they're still in it, aren't they?
It's good to get to the end of the season and work out how a league table functions. We're improving.
Just take all the numbers out of it. I'll take it on good faith. That's what I would suggest. But yeah, no, it does mean that Hull are incentivised to give it a proper waz against Ipswich, which I'm all for.
Yes, so that's good. But then Ipswich also play Coventry, who now have nothing to play for. So,
Well, Coventry not necessarily don't have anything to play for.
They don't have anything to play for, Dan. Am I going to have to explain a league table to you again here?
They're technically not out of it. Yeah,
No,
it's a 3-goal swing and hoping that Norwich lose all their games.
And West Brom.
No.
Oh, West Brom, sorry.
And Hull.
It's Dan. They've nothing to play for.
But they're going to want to. It's been a good season for Coventry. They're going to want to give a good performance for their fans and put on a show, aren't they, at the CBS Arena, like they did last night?
Yes. Let's say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really surprising that Coventry lost, is it? Because they had a tiring game at the weekend.
They rested a couple of their prominent players. I think like Ellis Sims, that brute who was hurting our centre halves. Naughty boy.
And obviously they played extra time at Wembley, and as we know, Wembley's, what is it, 3 times the size of a normal pitch?
I think the pitch, is actually at least, I think you can fit, not 4 is how they measured it out, 4 normal football pitches.
Yeah. So it's no wonder they're tired.
Yeah, so those fixtures, 8 o'clock Friday for us, Ipswich away at Hull, 8 o'clock on Saturday night. That's a bastard of a fixture, isn't it? It's a real bastard time of a fixture. And then Leicester are away at Preston on Monday night, and then if they win the title.
I shouldn't be too concerned about Ipswich fans, really, but being in Hull at like that time on a Saturday night is just unnecessary for them, isn't it?
You had me at Hull.
It's a hell of a long way home for them. Just don't do that to them.
How are you getting home from there? Are you doing Humber Bridge? Is it the A15, A19 down that way? It's a bit of a trek, innit? You're going to cut across, use the M18 and... I
don't know. It's a long way.
Nobody actually knows where Ipswich is, do they? So it makes it even more difficult
down
to
that bit, down the big sticky out bit, isn't it?
I was reading yesterday like different articles and tweets about all the different permutations about how this could end, and it just made my head hurt and it made me feel a bit sick. So I was like, I'm just not going to look at these a bit more. There was some stats thing I saw Graham Smith was retweeting where he was saying there was still like thousands of different possible outcomes. I thought that can't be right. How does that work? But
that's the permutations for the outcomes. It doesn't weight the opponents or form or likelihood of a victory, or it doesn't take into account how close the fixtures are together, that sort of thing. It's literally the number of outcomes.
All I took from that was let's just win our last 2 games and hope for the best. Yeah. I do think if we win our last 2 games,
I don't think it needs to be any more complicated than that, though, does it? Just win what's in front of you and see if it's enough.
And I think simplifying it like that makes things a lot more comfortable and easier to deal with.
It's over 4 hours, by the way.
Right.
Hull to Ipswich. Horrible business, that. And I hope they have a horrible trip, to be honest, because if they do lose, it's very much in our hands, isn't it?
Yeah. And, well, any dropped points puts it in our hands.
Oh, why? Because you've checked the goal difference, have you? Go on, then tell us.
Do you know something fun, by the way? I was just about to put the same thing into like Apple Maps, and so I searched for Hull City, but it says Hull City Tigers is what it's officially indexed as in Apple Maps. So that's fun. That'll annoy them. Create route from here. Should we assume we're going back to... Where are we going back to? Ipswich?
I mean, I've just told you what it is.
I know, but I want to verify it for myself, don't I?
See what Steve Jobs has got to say about it.
I'm actually more concerned about the route, yeah.
There's a really pleasingly straight road on it. I did notice that from Google Maps. It was like, oh,
that's one of the Roman roads.
I was going to say it's Roman, probably. Yeah,
it's your A15. I used to go down there when my mum lived out there.
This is great.
Good insight.
It is a good road.
Well, speaking of Hull, should we move on to Dan James?
Yes,
he's Hull stroke Wales in origin, isn't he? He's injured. Turns out he wasn't faking after all.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad now for thinking he was time wasting.
His ribs are all knackered and that. His costal cartilage.
Yep.
That's the problem. And his oblique abdominal muscles. Or at least one of them.
Right.
Did you see that photo of him huffing gas and air on the team bus home?
Yeah, we were saying about it, like propaganda this week. Michael was saying he'd given it a go.
I was going to say...
He had a little too. When was it, Michael? Do you want to bring it back up again?
No, that's not.
Well, his colonoscopy.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I feel like you chatted a lot about that recently.
Yeah, I know far too much.
Yeah, a lot of arse chat.
But he's milking it a bit there, isn't he?
I mean, I just felt jealous of him. I thought I could have done with some of that.
I didn't know they had gas and air on a team bus.
It's amazing what doctors can do. I thought you would have known with your sort of surgical background that that sort of thing's available for doctors.
They don't give me the keys to the medicine cabinet anymore. Apparently, you're not allowed to use all those things recreationally.
Oh, poor Dan James. Yeah, hopefully he's back for the final day.
It sounds like he probably won't be, though. I don't know. It sounds... A torn muscle sounds bad in your abdomen. And I don't know how bad costal cartilage injury can be.
That's the meat between your ribs, isn't it? Your costal cartilage.
Yeah. I think I might have injured that before.
Doing what?
When I was a kid, you used to do pile-ons at school where you'd like all of a sudden someone shout pile-on and you'd all get like jumped on.
Yeah.
That happened once, and then it was fine. Then I woke up the next morning and I was like, fuck, I can't actually move.
Where were you in the pile?
Towards the bottom.
Right.
Did that happen to you a lot at school, Michael?
It was the only time I can really remember. It was just a common thing, though. I think it was. You don't remember this, Rob? There were no phones in those days. You just had to sometimes have a big pile.
Assault people.
It was all you could do for entertainment sometimes.
Yeah. Just physical violence.
Yeah, exactly. Something to do in it. But yeah, I think he's probably done back for the playoffs though.
He'll be sat in the stands against Southampton and just huffing gas and air still. Just trying to get through it.
He'll be back for when we face Coventry in the playoffs.
Chucking full of tramadol.
Lucky bastard.
Takes the edge off. Under 18s beat Derby 5-0. That's good. Harry Gray, he's a mere slip of a youth. 2 goals, didn't he?
And a yellow card, which I enjoyed. I think that was probably needless, but pinning all our hopes on him for next year. Fast track him, get him straight in. I mean, he's 15, isn't he? And am I right in thinking Archie Gray got in the squad when he was that age?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's on the bench, wasn't he?
Stick him in the first team.
Yep. In the Premier League.
We need someone for next season. We need someone we want to put in instead of Pat Bamford, don't we? So it might as well be Harry Gray, I suppose. He's as good as anyone.
But we need someone who, once Matteo Joseph replaces Pat Bamford, we then need to write him off and say, no, get
true.
Harry Gray in. Play an actual kid.
So the ref versus QPR, Darren Bond, not one of the regulars. So the last time he did one of our games was when we beat Stoke 5-0 at Ellen Road. Yeah.
Ages ago.
Yeah, it's a while. Yeah.
But we do well with him in charge.
So we've won 8 and drawn 2. Is that right? Of the 13 that we've... Good start, that. I'm taking that as evidence that we're going to win. Mind you, I was quite happy to buy into the Teesside ref, the Hartlepool fan at Middlesbrough on Monday. They've never won with him in charge. So I think that it's a big advantage, I think.
I meant to check, actually. I think he may have got the highest referee score of the year, which just goes to show that all you need to do to get a high score is...
let us have a goal.
Let us have an offside goal.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's as transparent as that, really. It's not about a good performance. It's about a performance that favours us.
Yes.
And even so, he got less than 5.
Tribalism, far more important than a good performance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw on the YEP, Graham Smith gave him quite a high rating. I think he wrote, he let a few things go, but, overall, very good. But yes, too right.
In terms of the odds, then, for top 2, so we are now fractionally odds on, and Ipswich are just the other side of even money, which if you're not into you're betting, Leicester are nailed on for top 2 is what it basically says, isn't it? You'd have to put, what is it?
If you put £1 on, you'll win. You'll get your stake back plus 2 pence.
Right, yeah.
Put £1 on Leeds, you get your stake back plus 73 pence.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ipswich, you'll get £1.10 plus your stake back.
So we are considered. I mean, yeah,
it's a fairly significant advantage we have over Ipswich, according to that.
Yeah, odds wise. You wonder but that's going to be swayed by what people are betting on as well.
Yeah.
But the bookies...
But considering how much money I put on Ipswich, it should be swinging it the other way, if anything. I haven't actually yet, but I am considering.
We're going to do. With the death of Project 538, who we were measuring I was measuring our survival chances with in the last couple of years. That's now defunct, isn't it? It's gone.
Because it was
been shut down.
Revealed as a sham and a nonsense.
There is that.
All it does is every week when results change, they just change the percentages.
Yeah. But I was just going to say...
Until eventually you've got one game to play and they go, yes, this is probably about as it will finish.
I just wonder what that translates to in terms of overall percentage chances that we're being given versus Ipswich.
We are more likely to go up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say.
How do you feel about it? If you were to put a percentage on it, because I did a thing with Johnny Buchan down at Radio Leeds. It was sort of prior to the Blackburn game, I think it was. So I was still relatively optimistic at that point before the bad thing happened, and then we recovered against Middlesbrough. But I rated our chances of promotion at that point. I predicted it'd be us and Leicester. I said if we're going to go up, it'll be us and Leicester. And I said I thought that the fixtures that Ipswich had and the way that they fell, if Leeds got their act together, the fixtures may count against Ipswich. And I rated our chances at about 55% at that point.
I mean, that's roughly what 1.73 odds equates to. So
that's what I want. I want you to tell me I was right.
Yeah, about that. Well, I think I I was saying this the other day, I think off air. My dual cynicism about football, that the team with the most money always wins, who spends the most always wins in the end.
Yeah.
But then, which is us, undoubtedly, for second place. But then that goes against my Leeds will fuck it up cynicism,
right,
which suggests Ipswich. So I don't know. I just don't know which way to go on it.
It's a problem with the future, isn't it? We just talk about things that might or might not happen.
So I mean, we should do it.
He said it now, Rob. Have you?
But we should. The odds are there.
How many different individual bets do you have on Leeds not going up?
Do you know what? Not really any.
Oh, really?
No. I've been going game to game, just like chucking a fiver, a tenner on the opposition. But I mean, looking at that QPR game,
get good odds on them, won't you?
I'll consider it. I will consider it, and then I suppose it'll pay for my playoff trip.
We haven't heard from Daniel Farke yet, have we? His press conference will be at some point today. Hopefully, we don't find out that there's a plague in the camp or anything like that. That'd make me sad.
Yeah, you just want him to not tell us about any injuries, don't you?
But
see what's happened to Jamie Shackleton this week. That's about about all that we need to know.
But I think overall, we were saying this in the office just before we started recording, Rob, that I think the general mood with us is that finally, because the finish line is in sight, one way or another, there is comfort in that the uncertainty gets removed one way or another, and finally it'll be over.
I am very happy it's nearly done, albeit I am only considering that there's 2 more games left. I am refusing to consider that there might be 4 or 5. I can't cope with that.
Which means you believe that we're going to get promoted?
I do, yeah. I think we will. Well, if we win the next 2 games, I think we go up, because I don't think Ipswich will win all 3. I've said it now. But and given the way Southampton played the other night and the way that Russell Martin seems to be completely losing the plot, that gives me confidence for the final day. And you think, surely we should beat QPR. Oh.
I mean, we should, because we're miles better than them. That's what the table suggests.
We're like pretty much twice as good, aren't we, looking at the points?
Yeah, and we were miles better than them earlier in the season, just the same as Blackburn. Just the same as Blackburn.
Just the same. And the same as like Huddersfield as well when we went there.
Yeah.
Because they're absolutely terrible. And they had 10 men for half that game.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, over soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.